Okay, so holy fuck. Holy fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Hello, welcome. Oh. 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 So I had a dream while I was like passed out from eating food. Tasty food, but yeah, no, not the tastiest food. But it was filling enough to where I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a nap now. Anyways, dream. A lot of the dream I don't really feel like recalling or pulling to memory. But there's one section where I went through a territory I've visited twice now. And I usually once before in another dream, and now a second time in this dream. And I'm starting to remember the fact that I'm starting to identify specific dream territories repeatedly is getting interesting. It's getting really interesting. But yeah, no, the reason why I would avoid this territory is because, by all means, it fucking sucks. You can't. I would have no means to kill anything in that territory. And everything in that territory has all the means to kill me. At least in terms of, like, game mechanics and all that. And the fucking hunter from that territory. The chaser, the fucking. Oh, you stepped too close and now I'm going to follow you and haunt you forever, fucking. Oh, elemental weather mage witch bitch. Holy fuck. That bitch does not stop, even if you leave the territory. So it's really just fucking annoying. Yeah, I finally fucking lasted longer than 10 seconds in the dream. Because every time they would do an attack, I would just turn at a right angle, shift a step to the right, and avoid the attack. But for every single step I took, another attack was created that was in the direction that I had moved. So I had to spend the last portion of my dream just fucking moving around like a fucking gremlin. And being like, okay, there's something there, this way, this way, this way. Okay, tilt my head up and to the right, try to make sure I'm looking at a certain angle, and running the fuck away. It got to the point where I nearly breached the atmosphere of my dream world, and I was like, I don't think I'm ready for space yet if I'm still dealing with this bitch. And so I just angled myself back down into the atmosphere, and then it was like, oh, you want to go into the ocean? And I was like, nope. So I just started gaining more and more and more and more and more speed the longer I went at it, until eventually I circled around the entire dream world, of which I don't even have a full map of. And it's just like, what the fuck? Why is this bitch so persistent? Eventually, I made my way back to the same concrete city that I was that the territory was tangentially related to. And so the bitch finally was like, oh, you're within my teleport range again. Surprise, fucker. And it's just like, no, I don't need you following me twice. Because I'm still outrunning your attacks. Even at a fucking worldwide difference, I'm still having to avoid this fucking bitch's attacks. So yeah, we entered a compact, tight area, and at that point, I was just like, okay, this is my this. That was the rate at which I was choosing next destinations to make sure I didn't run into a fucking wall or end up dead with an delayed attack following behind. And it eventually got to the point where I got trapped inside an area where the bitch was still following me around and still attacking. And I woke up and it's like, fucking damn, I lived that for once. How the fuck? Oh, and she's just so cute and cheery in the dream, and it's just like, no, I'm staying the fuck away from you. How about no? Just no. I I step forwards. They're going to attack me from behind. I go to the right. Suddenly, there's this other enemy projecting a fucking attack wall, pre-attack, a attack setup wall right in front of me. So I step to the right, and then there's another one. Well, the bitch is still behind me, and it just chained into this nightmare of a chase. I swear, I do not. Non-linear relativity within dream space is a pain in the ass to navigate as is. But apparently when you're running for your life, it starts becoming more linear. That's kind of terrifying to think about. That is very terrifying to think about. No, thank you. Another bitch that controls weather magic. Uh, and she's better at it than my E. Fucking, I couldn't even summon the idea of my fictional self to embody well within my own fucking dream to do anything and fight back. It was literally just too little time to do that. Too little personal space to be able to tap into a different aspect and expression of myself mid-dream. Because that's happened like at least 3-5 times at this point throughout all my dreams, where instead of it being whatever dream character fits the situation, instead of flowing along with the story, I actually managed to summon the abilities and persona of my fictional dream self in the midst of the dream and use that to address the situation. And it's just oh. God damn, she was fucking cute in her design and her aesthetic, but holy fuck is she a terrifying enemy. I don't want to deal with that, no thank you. I'm staying away from that territory for a fucking reason in Dream Space, and I don't want to think about where that parallels to the information I have relative to reality that I live in when I'm awake. Because my fictional self has an aptitude for weather and fire magic. That much I know for certain already. It's in one of the lore documents, stated as much. Which is ironic, because she's also a plant-based creature. Even if she can consume genetic codes and reference points of areas around her for use in her own expression, that doesn't mean that she isn't internally still made out of plants. The only exception is when she's manifesting in a reality where she can't be made out of plants, and it's more anchored down to a very set and specific system of the reality structure. Ay, ay, fucking yay. Meanwhile, the other part of the dream was just, oh hey, there's this other motherfucker. And there's this other area. I explored it, I wandered. It was nice, it was neat, but then towards the end of the area, I was like, hey, wait, no, I need to get in touch with this other motherfucker to prevent them from being manipulated and abused by these other bitch-ass motherfuckers that are far from reasonable or nice. And it's just like, so you're gonna have to climb throughout different versions of the dream where different events are happening within the timeline in parallel. So I tried to climb it from one moment within the dream into the next, but it's like the dream itself was fighting me. And I was struggling to be able to get up there because it was represented not as a rewind point, but as an actual parallel area, spatially related in tangent with the current moment. Like, think a balcony where an event is happening. Now, think of that same balcony, but a different event is happening. And then another one where the event you're wanting to jump to is happening. And they're all stacked on top of each other, so here I am just trying to crawl up the side of the fucking balconies in order to jump from one event to another, and it's just like, fucking yeesh. The earlier part of the dream was fun to navigate, though. Nice, just chill. Saw my mom wandering around. I was exploring and having a good old time. On one hand, for the part of the dream I addressed first in this recording, the one where I walked into that one territory, and it was just... Wait, was there also... Hold up, was there a book that referenced another dream where it went into, like, nightmare challenge space? Because I remember, like, one dream where it was an RPG nightmare, and we were traveling around both in person and in third person across the RPG area, and it shifted from like 2D to 3D, above view to third person view, and it was just dynamically interesting because there was this one area I tried to go to that was like beyond the bounds of the RPG system itself or the RPG layout, and was more so connected puzzle area, and it led to quite the interesting expression of like Wild Arms 3 related tangents while also still being very story driven and whatnot, but with puzzle and conflict elements. Meanwhile, the main RPG area was more of a casual RPG rather than conflict and struggle, but it still held like themes of fighting to save the world and like decent challenges relative to what you would see in a usual RPG. And then there was that area. But no, the fact that there's a book that connects to that area within my dreams is really, really interesting. I want to grab a hold of that book next time I see it in my dreams. I want to be able to carry it with me. Because I have a feeling that's the index. That's the territory index for that area. territory index. Past areas have a territory index wherein you can travel to by referencing them. However, if you have not found a way to properly collect it, then it will not be able to be it will not be accessible when you are at the core center point in reference within the dream world. AKA, you'll have to go out into the dream world and find out where it is currently. Because they wander from territory. Territory reference points can wander from beyond their own territory into other territories? What the fuck? That's like saying the NPC that can warp you from one area of a dream world and Yumi, Nikki, Tuki, Flow, or collective consciousness, collective unconscious, is able to wander around from area to area on their own instead of as an active AI agent that just does as it wants instead of being limited to specific locations. An always present force that can make its own choices and directions and actions without necessarily being all too self-aware. That would be frustrating as hell, because then you would need a compass for specific tangents and territories for specific NPCs and territory indexes until you can finally meet the conditions to archive them within your home area within the dream. So archiving a territory index is not a simple task then within my dream world. I can definitely remember specific points and rewind to previous points in other dreams that I've been to, but it does not mean I will have the same results upon when visiting that section of dream world again. Meanwhile, if you have a territory index, you can jump back to that area through a blur of tangents that sets you up to where you have the same territory reaction as before, even if you make different choices that result in different tangents. Holding up my internal psychological world between dream space, flow space, and all these other spaces is insane. Oh, Dreamwave. That's a reference point for the idea my brain was just looking towards, but Dreamwave is like a simplified version, wherein you cross-reference with other people through the filter of mini-games via WarioWare type dynamics. And that's while you're awake, so the dynamic availability of exploration and expression needs to be simplified in order to make sure that the cross feedback doesn't become hazardous to either person beyond the necessary actions and consequences. Meanwhile, if you manage to create a cross-reference via dreaming, then you have a wider breadth of versatility in exploring someone's dynamic mental structure, while also being able to say, hey, I'm not gonna deal with this shit. But the fact that I ran into a territory where the chaser enemy is something I can't handle or deal with, the fact that it's so fucking cute and deadly. Yeah, no, that's definitely new. First time it happened, I was just like, okay, whatever. That's weird. But the fact that it's happened twice, and that the dream, that chaser enemy has been referenced twice within a short period of time frame from its first introduction to its second second inclusion and reference is interesting. I wonder if that's the archived if that's the compressed and archived dynamic and idea of a resonance point relative to that dense stork. But if that's the case, then holy fuck, yeah, no, there's a reason why I'm avoiding them. I feel like they could fucking kill me. And they probably feel like I could fucking kill them. So, conceptually, and I just, no, 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 nope, 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 no. I do not have the means to interact with that section of my dream space without being fucking attacked for some reason. And until that's resolved or changes, I am probably going to try and avoid that section of dream space, or at the very least, keep using it as an opportunity to try and figure out, okay, what can I do? Because it's clear from this last dream that one thing I can do is outmaneuver and outrun that chaser enemy within my dream world. But what else can I do? Because if I cannot be of dynamic friction to that chaser enemy and deal damage to it, then ultimately I fundamentally have to fear it and avoid it. So until I can find a way to interact beyond avoidance, it's going to probably just stick to, I'm probably going to be sticking to avoidance, confusion, and or just dynamic evasion tactics, because no. I do not want to die, and I do not want to die in my dreams, even if I'm capable of fucking surviving that. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good day. And that's all I'm saying on this stream log, because fucking hell, I don't want to stay on VR chat anymore. I was just wanting to run around while processing that. See you all later, you fuckers. Bye. I care about you, even if I'm fucking, what? A bitter, cynical bitch who has a sharp tongue and very low social aptitude. See you all later. Hope things get better for you.